Okay, video, do. First of all, I'm holding two avocados because I think one of the biggest misconceptions about Paris and living in Paris is that it's very expensive. These avocados, which I'm obsessed, these cost 89 cents. I guess it's not cents if it's in euros, but you know what I'm saying. Now, they were on sale. However, I mean, that's amazing for avocados. So I just wanted to put that out there. Number two, I want to share with you something that, again, we're going to go real deep, real quick. Something that I journaled this morning because I journal every morning. I wake up to a meditation, some sort of guided meditation. I play some music. I really do love to walk in nature. That's my favorite thing. That's one of my favorite things about living in Paris and really living in Europe in general is just exploring, and that literally gets me out of my head and it helps me to stay present. So sometimes I don't always do it, especially if it's cold. This morning I didn't do it. It was a little rainy. So I felt this morning, I normally journal from my soul's perspective. I say, dearest soul, what would you have me know? Or I ask a question to my soul. And this morning, I just felt a very familiar feeling of dread. And so I'm just going to share with you what I wrote. And hopefully you'll be able to relate. So, dear soul, I feel so far away from you this morning. All the mind wants to do is solve and fix, and it can't see any new possibility. The mind only sees the past. It only wants me to find a solution, a job, a place to live, anything so it can feel satiated. But I know it'll never be enough. The skin rashes will fade. The money will come through and then it will be spent again. And then what? I get all this external stuff, and then what? Nothing will satiate this feeling. This feeling is what I am meant to overcome. This feeling is dread. It's nothingness. It's no home, no money. It's nothing out there. It's aloneness. It's sadness. It feels without hope. It feels without love. It feels without inspiration. It's believing that in this moment, it's all my fault. I've done this. Nothing outside me can help alleviate this feeling, this burden. It's all my doing. It's so interesting because right as I wrote that, so I write the feeling out. I write from the perspective, like I said, it's not me, the mind, right? So that immediately lets go of any ownership because I know it's just a program. It's a program that I've had probably my whole life with certain variations. The feeling is what I was trying to move through. How do I move through this same feeling that I know outside of me is not going to change? Yes, temporarily, certain things might come through and then I'm happy and then it goes away and then we react and then we have this feeling again. So what I'm saying is I know that I'm meant to overcome this emotional addiction because that's really what it is. I'm a huge Dr. Joe Dispenza fan, as well as many other beautiful spiritual books, personal growth books. So I've been on this journey for a very long time. And I guess I want to showcase that it's okay. Like, it's okay to feel these feelings but with the higher intention that it's not who we really are. In fact, we are so far from who we really are, because who we really are really is that part of us that feels completely safe and satiated and whole. And everything that pulls us away from that, why it feels bad, is because it's not actually who we really are. So it makes sense that when we feel far away from who we really are, it doesn't feel good. And I'm just getting really, really comfortable and used to being able to witness. And it's sort of like Dr. Joe says this all the time, which is that we have to become so familiar with that voice, so familiar that we don't go unconscious to it, meaning we don't believe it. You know, that very first line, I feel so far away from you, soul, or really, I feel so far away from who I really, really, truly am. And the mind is always going to try to grasp something outside of us to make this feeling go away, whether it's food, whether it's, you know, I don't know, calling somebody up, unloading on them, whatever it is. But if we can just journal it out, be with it, without attaching ourselves and our identity to it, without calling it anything other than what it is, which is just a familiar program, it will start to dissipate. So after I wrote that, as I said, did I even say this? I often play music. And so this song came on. It was actually a Ram Dass meditation. And it was so perfect because all of a sudden I finished, put the pen down, and then he started to guide me through this beautiful meditation. And it was just very simple. He was just basically talking about how to meditate 101. And I was able to do it. I was able to just listen to his voice and that beautiful, I think it was like a cello music behind his voice. And I got really present. And then that feeling just faded. And I was like, right. And once again, this is what it means to overcome this addiction or just a familiar pattern and move through it. And that's all you do. That's all I do. Every time something like that comes up. And the other thing I journaled later was because, and I'll go into more of the specifics of my journey, but because I have been doing this for a really long time, really leaning into trust, really letting go of needing anything outside of me to change in order for me to change, right? Knowing the answer is never outside of me, it's within. The shift is always within. So the longer I'm in this, the harder it is, oddly. You want to know why? Because it's not new anymore. When we start on a new journey, our adrenaline is like, yes, it's new and it's exciting, you know? And so because it's not new, the mind will say, oh, you've already done this before and look what happened. Or you've already, blah, 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 and you still have to worry about what's going to happen, because that's ultimately what the mind is trying to get me to worry and to try to figure something out, because in a month I have to find another place to live and all of that stuff. But I've been doing this now. I let go of my apartment in May of 2024. So we're going on, it's going to be a year, which is like, it's wild. It's wild. I mean, when I tell you, yeah, it's been wild. And at the same time, it's been the most extraordinary experience of my life, because I've never lived like this before. But as I said, because we're moving through time in this time-space reality, the mind is trying to trick me / you to say, oh, look at the past and you have to worry and this didn't go through. And one of the things that I've learned about stepping into the unknown, because that's what I'm doing, it's never, ever going to show up the same way twice, ever, 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 ever. That is literally the opposite of the unknown, because you know that the work you're doing internally is working when things show up as a surprise. When you cannot predict how something's going to come through, you know you're on the right track. When you can predict it, you know you've used your past self to create it. You've just gone unconscious. So this is my journey that I've elected, is to completely stay aware, conscious, and line up with the truth of who I really am, which is that everything always works out for me, always. And it may not look like it in the moment, but you always have to trust. I always have to trust that it does, because it does. It has, over and over and over again. Okay, this video is getting long. This is it for my second video, and I love your comments, so please comment below, and let's continue this conversation. Take care, everyone. Bye.